Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey from Cruises Reviews. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. Today we are continuing our Birmingham Brewery series, say that 5 times fast, at Back 40 Beer Company. So Back 40 actually originally isn't from Birmingham. It's from about an hour northeast of Birmingham in a city called Gadsden, Alabama. But a couple years ago they opened up a very large location here in Birmingham, and guys, it's awesome. So hope you enjoy the review. If you do enjoy the review, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button below. Let's get started. Okay, so just as a reminder, we evaluate breweries on 4 criteria. Number 1, and most important, is taste. Number 2 is variety of beer, meaning how many beers do you have on tap? Is it all the same type of beer, or is there a good variety? Number 3 is what I call churn. Okay, so the churn factor is basically variety over time. So if I came to this brewery once a month for an entire year, how different is the beer every month that I come, right? So the churn factor. And then the 4th, and arguably the next to most important, is the location and atmosphere, right? You don't come to a brewery just to drink beer. You could always go buy their beer in a grocery store. Most people come to a brewery for the atmosphere, for the camaraderie, so I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. So as always, I'm gonna save my thoughts on taste of the beer for the end, but let's start with variety. I think the variety at Back 40 in Birmingham is some of the best in the whole city. They have usually 16 to 20 beers on draft or bottled that you can choose from. They have a lot of small batch stuff in Birmingham. Now, the exact opposite traditionally can be said for their Gadsden Brewery. That's where they mostly just have their flagship stuff. But when they opened the Birmingham Brewery, instead of just having their flagship stuff all the time, they said, you know what, let's do something interesting and different. And they started creating small batch brews just for this location, and it is awesome. So I am going to give the variety rating a 5 out of 5 here at Back 40. So this traditionally has not been a part up to this point of my reviews, but I do want to mention that Back 40 is one of the only breweries in the city that has a full kitchen inside the brewery. So no food trucks or anything like that. This place has a full kitchen. They have things like pizza, burgers, salad. They even have dessert. So if you're looking for a place where you know, okay, consistent food, by the way, the food's really good, especially for a brew pub. So consistent food, consistent beer, a lot of variety. This place is awesome. You'll also notice behind me that there are a lot of tables. So especially if you get here early. Now, if you show up at 7 o'clock at night, don't count on this, but if you get here early, you can easily get a table for 10 people. It's not a hard thing to do here. If you show up at 7 o'clock, you're not gonna be sitting inside with that because there are a lot of people that come here. But again, I just wanna mention special call out to their food because it's really, really excellent, especially their pizza and especially their burgers. Okay, so this one's really tricky, the churn factor here at Back 40. So I know I just said that they've got a ton of variety. And so you would imagine that the churn factor is huge here at Back 40, but it's actually not as much as you would think. When you come in, yes, they've got a lot of beers, but they typically find recipes they enjoy and they make them pretty frequently. It's a little more of a seasonal beer kind of vibe. So I'm gonna give the churn factor like a 3.5 out of 5. I could be wrong here, right? I don't come here quite as often as some of the other breweries, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 because when I just walked up, I had a lot of the stuff on the menu already. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Overall, that's not bad. As a matter of fact, if you've watched some of my other videos, that can be a really positive thing. If you find a beer that you really like at a brewery and you go there just for that beer and they don't have it, it's very frustrating, right? So for a lot of beer drinkers, they want that consistency. But for somebody like me, I would be happy if every single beer there were new every time I walked in. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Okay, so for my next rating, let's talk about location. Guys, I personally love this location, but I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, and let me tell you why. So if we look around, and I've shot some videos, so you'll see there's a ton of outdoor space here. It's just really awesome. There's great parking right here next to the brewery, and behind me, right across the street, it's hard to know, but it's hard to know about this, but if you're from Birmingham, you'll know about it. Right behind me, right up here, that's Sloss Furnace. So you got this really nice scenic view, and it's like 2 minutes outside of downtown Birmingham. So the location is excellent. The only thing that keeps me from giving this place a 5 out of 5 has got to be the fact that like there's not a fenced in area. So you can't easily just like bring your dogs and let them out, or like, you know, have the kids running around too much. But that said, other than Avondale Brewing, this is probably the best outdoor space in the whole city. And it's probably the most scenic. It's the most beautiful to just sit around and have a beer, but it's not as good of a place to come watch a game, or, you know, they're not gonna have a ton of live music out here like they do at Avondale. So overall, beautiful location, really great atmosphere. It's just a different vibe than your Avondale crowd. So that's not a bad thing, it's just different. Okay, so the moment of truth, as always, we've got to rate the beer, right? So as we've already discussed, beer rating is very subjective, right? I am kind of a hophead. I love IPAs. I like big, bold flavors, but some people don't love that, right? Some people want a more subdued taste. They want a more refined taste, and that's completely legitimate. I'm going to give Back 40 like a 3.5 out of 5. It's not my favorite beer, just to be honest, it's not. But again, it's because I like huge, bold flavors. They certainly have some beers, like the beer I just had, that jalapeno, I would give that like a 4.5 out of 5. I love that, but that is not everything on the menu. It's not a bad thing. Most people love Back 40, so I hesitate because I don't really know. I'm like, oh, do I give a rating based on what I think or based on what I think you would think? But all I can do is say, here's what I think. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's good beer, it's consistently good beer, but it's a little bit malty for me, generally speaking. It's not a negative thing, I just really, really like hops. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. Please do come check this place out. It's called Back 40 Beer Company. And if you're looking for a great place to host a lot of friends and a nice quiet place where you can chat and talk and it not be crazy loud, this is the place for you. All right, guys, y'all take care.